All right, so I tried Naval Ravikant's 60 Days of 60 Minutes Meditation Challenge. And in this video, I'm gonna get into why I did it, what it was like, what lessons I learned, some of the fears that I had going into it. But before I get into it, how about we define what meditation actually is? A lot of people think that meditation means you have to clear your mind. It means you have to focus on your breathing. It means that you have to do something. I prefer to view meditation as confronting my mind and not using meditation to avoid it. So here's what the challenge boils down to. For 60 days, I spent 60 minutes sitting with my eyes closed, doing nothing else in that time. So why did I do it? The truth is, I saw a clip of Naval on Joe Rogan, and the guy persuaded me to try it.
The problem with what I'm talking about, which is not focusing on your breath, is you will have to listen to your mind for a long time. It's not going to work unless you do at least an hour a day, and preferably at least 60 days before you kind of work through a lot of issues. So it'll be hell for a while, but when you come out the other side, it's great.
So some of my fears going in, I was worried that I wouldn't have time for other things. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to last the 60 minutes. I was kind of OCD, sort of freaking out there. What if I miss one day? And I also was worried that, what if I try this and by the end of it, it doesn't change my life? I think part of the reason that I decided to try this too was because I felt like, all right, well, I've kind of plateaued with my meditation. And so the first couple of days, the first maybe 15 days, I experienced all of the usual discomforts. I had my body would start to itch and I wouldn't be comfortable and I would just kind of move around and, just fucking ego going berserk. It was hard to just sit with my eyes closed and not look at the timer. Right, I definitely did plenty of times. But again, I don't think that, at least for me, this exercise, this challenge was not about perfect. It was about just fucking do it. And so somewhere around day 10 to 15, I started to have new thoughts. And by new thoughts, I don't mean thoughts that no one else has ever had before. I just mean thoughts that I had buried with the busyness of my life. And what that quickly deteriorated into was getting new ideas and sort of taking my workaholism and inserting it into this challenge. And let's say that at the time I was working on an article or I was working on a new book or something, and I didn't have a title for it yet. And so I would just be sitting there, and 25, 30 minutes in, I'd just be like, oh shit, I haven't thought of a title yet. And then I would start to brainstorm. And then I would come up with 5 or 6 different titles, and then I'd be like, fuck, I can't sit here for another half hour or else I'm gonna forget them. For 5 or 10 days after day 15, so maybe day 15 to 25, I just kind of ran with that. And I would stop and then I would write some shit down on my phone or on a notepad or just kind of obsess over that and try to loop that thought for the next 30 minutes so that I wouldn't forget it. What I quickly realized was that I had taken something that was supposed to help me focus on being, and I turned it into more doing. And so after that, I decided, maybe I was sitting down one day meditating on it, and I realized what I was doing, and I thought, this isn't the purpose of this. So it's challenging. Sure, it's challenging to have a really good idea and to just sit there and see if it's there after your meditation or not. And to trust that if it's not, it'll either come back to me or that I'll have another idea, right? And so in a way, this kind of helped me learn to trust and believe that there's an abundance in life and not a scarcity. And the final sort of 30 days of this challenge, I realized that I was not worried about all the other things that, one of my fears going in was I'm not going to have time to do all the other things that I want to. And 30 days in, I was like, this is the thing that I want to be doing. If I only had 1 hour a day to do one thing, and I have, writing, podcasting, making videos, or this 1 hour meditation challenge, this is the thing that I want to do, the meditation. And so the lessons that I learned, I'll start with the one that I just mentioned, was my priority shifted from always doing to more being, right? And that was something that I've struggled with my whole life, that to this day it still rears its fucking head every now and then. I felt like I would get my worth from doing. And to choose to, if I only had 1 hour a day where I could choose either to do or to just sit and do this fucking meditation challenge, was not easy. But I think that the commitment and the reason, I think part of the reason Naval recommends do at least 60 days and at least 60 minutes is because that's a big commitment. And it's like, if you're not ready to commit to the healing act that you want to do, it might not really work, and it might not really heal you all that much. Of all the lessons, that was maybe the biggest one. Second lesson, that doing nothing allows everything that I've avoided to come up and to surface. And so if I've been running from a lot of painful shit, this challenge is going to be really fucking hard. And so I think, one of the main reasons that I have stopped meditating at times is because I will tell myself, this isn't working, right? That judgmental voice in my head that I never make time for. When I do meditation, it pops its head up and it says, hey, this isn't working. Stop doing this. This is a waste of time. And it's like, no, motherfucker, that's the point. You're not trying to measure any result from this. That's the whole point. And maybe the third lesson that I learned is that this is not about doing the challenge to see what happens. It's to just get away from this mindset of everything I do has to produce a result, right? I can just do something, and the success of it doesn't depend on tangible outcomes. But going back to the second lesson, the things that come up for me, there's a real benefit to that I found, which was oftentimes when I'm in bed, I will just have restless thoughts. And I'll just be sitting there, and if I've dropped my meditation practice, all of the thoughts that I'm not making time for during the day or throughout the day, that's when they come up. It kind of gets rid of all those thoughts. And not rid of it, but just it gives them their proper space, right? And so it's like, if you're a creative person, but you're never making time to brainstorm, then when you're in bed is when you're going to get all these fucking ideas. And then instead of creating a time where you can think about these things, people turn to, well, I'm just going to put my phone on my nightstand. And then every time I get a fucking idea, I'm going to write it down. It's like, all right, motherfucker, well, then you're not going to get much sleep, This solves a lot of problems that I didn't even know I had. So I guess to wrap it up, I never actually, 60 days didn't go by and then I sat down and I thought, oh, was Naval right? Did my life change? After 60 fucking days, I just kind of forgot that I had started this challenge, and I just was like, I'm just going to do this from now on. But what I realized, now that I've sort of simmered on it and really reflected on the experience, is that the change that Naval is talking about, it will change your life. The commitment is the change. It's not the result at the end of the commitment. It's the fact that for most people, committing to ourselves on such a large scale is not something we ever do. So that was my experience with this challenge. If you decide to try it and you want to share your experience, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear what that was like for you. And if there's anything else that you're kind of interested right now that's in this field of taking care of yourself or meditation that you're working on, or that you want to, potentially hear my experience with, also leave a comment below, and who knows, maybe it'll be my next video. All right, thank you for watching.